Hey everyone, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Grace.
And in this video, we want to share how we hacked the Dave Ramsey baby steps to really work for us so we can live completely debt-free and basically semi-retire. Right? And so we're going to walk through baby step 1 through 7 just to really give you an idea of like our thought process behind it and why we implemented certain things, what we followed, what we didn't follow, and even maybe some of the mistakes that we made so you don't make those same mistakes. So let's dive in.
So baby step 0. I don't think Dave Ramsey really dives in really deep into this, but it's more like you need to talk to your spouse or talk to yourself pretty much and figure out what is your why. Like, why do you want to retire early? Why do you want to be debt free? And for us, that happened when we first got married, and it was not pretty at all because first you're trying to get to know the other person. Like we weren't living together before we got married, and then we had to get our finances together, which was not pretty. So that'll be another video. But I think that it's really important to talk about it and be honest with each other. Like, what do you think? Like,
yeah, I mean, because like I said, this just kind of just happens. You get married, and it's like, now what? So you're trying to figure out each other, figure out your financial habits, figure out just your habits in general.
Yeah.
And so we had decided to take a trip across the country, really just travel America. And it was through that time where we really got close. Yeah. And we really just started opening up about each other's pasts, you know, what our financial habits and just like what we truly wanted. And so I remember we were reading a book at this time. It was called Marriage on the Rock that really changed our really perspective on marriage and how we view that through the lens of being a Christian. And so going through that, there's really no, on baby step 0, Dave Ramsey doesn't really talk about kind of how to go through this. And so we have a free guide that's down below, but it's really the process that we went through to kind of get clear on our vision and how we wanted to actually live our lives. And I think this is literally the most important stage because it's really going to keep you through all 7 baby steps.
Yeah, it makes you think, okay, this is my big why, and you know, it makes you push yourself. Like once you're like trying, like you're wanting to give up or like you don't know how you're going to do it, you just think about why you're doing this, and that motivates you to keep going.
And it has to be deeper than like, I just want to be debt free.
Yeah.
Like that's just surface level. You just got to dig deep and really understand your spouse, or if you're by yourself, really understand what you want and how you want to live your life after, because you're going to become debt free at some point, right? And so it's like, then what?
Yeah, because even being debt-free, I don't think that you'll be happy just, you know, just by being debt-free. You need to see what kind of life you want. Make sure that your why is really like profound and deep.
Yes.
So baby step number 1 is saving $1,000. Before we even saved $1,000, we stopped investing into our retirement account and opened a bank account separately from our normal bank account.
Yeah. Just we didn't want to touch it.
Yeah, we didn't want to touch it. So we pretty much like put our $1,000 there or invested our $1,000 there, and then we just totally forgot about it. And we didn't even think about like, hey, we have money there. Just forgot about it.
Exactly.
And so for some people, it probably sounds like it's not enough.
Right. You might have a big family, right? It was just Grace and I at the time. We got our little son that's making noises right now.
He's so cute. But I think the purpose behind this is that Dave Ramsey is trying to make you think like, hey, like once you get $1,000 down, you're capable of doing more than that.
Yeah, it's really about the principle of like building momentum. And so I understand that. If you go in understanding that principle and just start like having these small wins, that is really going to kind of like propel you forward. So baby step 2. Now, this is the hardest, I feel like, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was one of the hardest for us because before we were married, I actually had some savings. And I guess the hard thing for me was letting that security go. And I think it obviously stems from growing up as with a single parent mom, right? And just, it was a struggle. And so having that amount of money was just really kind of a security blanket for me. So just putting that all towards debt is that funny, buddy? I don't think it's that funny. I'm sharing my heart here. No, it was really hard for me to let go of that. And actually you helped me kind of through that, realizing that, Jeremy, you have a negative net worth anyways.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, hey, like either we use the money to pay off our debt or it just sits there, but we're literally doing nothing with it.
Yes.
But I kind of understood him, because coming into our marriage, I didn't have savings, and maybe something we can talk about in our channel. Let us know in the comments below. Like, Jeremy and I kind of struggled in our marriage at first because he had savings, I didn't, and going into marriage like that, it was pretty tough.
Yeah.
And so when Jeremy had this money saved, like, I felt like I pretty much didn't have a say, but I also was like, hey, like, what else are you gonna do with this money, And it was nice because Jeremy was like, no, like, my money is your money too. So I told him, I was like, okay, well, let's tackle down our debt, because if we don't, then we might as well go buy a house, but then we're getting ourselves into more debt.
Yeah.
And so that was the toughest part right there.
Key thing really for us is, like, you have to go hard. Like, for baby step 2, a lot of people can't stick with it. And I think, like, if you don't go hard at this, like, you're not going to stick with it. We knew we weren't going to stick with it if we just didn't go all in.
Yeah.
And just get rid of it. And we're realizing, so we started out with some of your credit card debt.
Yeah.
We started out and then moved on to the car and then the student loans. And so every single step was built on momentum. And I understand, right? The Dave Ramsey method is called the snowball method, but technically, mathematically, the avalanche method, where you start with paying off your high interest rates first, makes more financial sense. And I get that, right?
Yeah.
I studied finance, I get that. But like I said, if I was gonna do this plan, and I didn't realize, I guess, how emotional I was through that. And I realized that when, like, okay, this is hard for me to let go of this. So, like, I knew the emotions behind it. So it's like, okay, I have to do this. I have to build the momentum, because money was very emotional for me.
And it didn't happen like from one day to another. Jeremy was thinking about this probably for a whole month.
Yeah.
He was just like going back and forth, okay, let's do it. And then he would be like, you know what, maybe we should invest in something else. Or like,
yeah.
So I was making
excuses.
Yeah,
I was like, I wanted to get out of the Dave Ramsey plan right before I even started.
Yeah. And I was like, no, babe, like, I think we should just do this. And I'm glad that he did, because after we paid off my credit cards first, it felt really good having that off our back.
Yeah.
Like, not getting people like, hey, like, you owe this or whatever, or getting notified that my payment was coming up.
They were taking money out of your.
This is how bad it was. They were taking money out of my paycheck.
I was like, what in the world, they could do that? Like, and that's where I was like, okay, that we have to get rid of this.
Yeah.
And so we just buckled down and got through it, because, like, there's no way.
You buckled down.
We buckled down, because, like, we're not gonna let anybody take money out of our paychecks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no way we can let this stand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
as we were tackling down our debt, we also knew that we had to pretty much go live somewhere cheaper, which was $1,000 a month, but no washer and dryer, and it was a little bit more in a sketchy area. We knew we could afford a really nice apartment, but we wanted to tackle our debt fast.
Yeah.
And we also we just had one car. We didn't go and buy another one, even though we could and we needed one, because we both worked in, like, separate towns, and different towns, and we also worked in different hospitals. So it was really hard when we had to give each other rides, because we were like 30 minutes apart.
For sure.
So it was a sacrifice.
It was,
but
for sure.
It was well worth it, obviously.
Definitely. And another thing that we did was, we didn't want to kind of, like, even though we're going through this journey, we didn't want to limit ourselves as far as, like, vacations and just, like, enjoying life along the way. So we did leverage credit cards to travel for free. Now, I know we had just said that we had just paid off the credit cards. Now, that's something that I never struggled with. And so once I showed Grace how to use them properly, she was like, and she understood them, she was, like, completely on board.
Yeah.
So we believe that a credit cards are a tool, right? If you don't know how to use the tool, you shouldn't use it. And I believe, and I agree with Dave Ramsey, like, you should not use credit cards, right? If you're struggling with credit cards, just don't use them. Don't even, like, tempt yourself with that.
Yeah.
I never struggled with them. And once Grace understood how to use them, like, it was easy. Like, it just completely makes sense. We pay them off every month. But I have another video talking about how we use them to travel for free. I'll link it down below. So baby step 3, Dave says save 3 to 6 months of expenses. And so here's kind of how we approach that.
Yeah.
We really only saved about $3,000 for an emergency fund, because we just needed something that would cover our rent, because we were both working full-time jobs at the time. So, like, even if she lost a job, I still had, and I could live off one income. And we were used to that already anyways, because we were living off one income as we were paying off our debt and using the other income to throw it at debt. So we're really used to that, living frugal. And so we really weren't that afraid of having completely losing everything. Our rent was only $1,000 a month, so I could always find another job. So we weren't really shooting for the 3 months or even the 6 months at that time, because we wanted to increase our savings rate in order to save for a down payment for a home at the time.
Yeah. So it came to the point where we had enough for a down payment for a house, and we had really good jobs where we can afford and pay the house monthly. And so we sat down and we're like, okay, we just paid off all this debt. Does it make sense to like get again into debt? And actually this was going to be like triple.
Well, yeah, it's going to be like what, 400,000 to 500, somewhere around there.
And we weren't even convinced in like staying in Oregon at this point. So we were like, okay, how can we live, you know, in a nice, not in a nice area, but how can we still like invest in a small little place that's cheaper than an apartment, and still continue to save money?
Yes.
So this is where we came up with a crazy idea, and well, actually my dad did, and we jumped into it. And this is when we invested into a manufacturing home. Yeah,
it was a mobile home in a mobile home park.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely a fixer-upper. And so like this is something, well, we went against, I guess not against, but we didn't follow 2 of Dave Ramsey's rules, right? We didn't save the full 3 to 6 months of expenses, and we bought a mobile home, which he says like you should not buy mobile homes.
You should not do it.
But we did it because it's something that we could start small and could afford.
Yeah.
And I like to think we did it smart. Like we bought a fixer-upper, right? Because we bought it for around $40,000.
$40,000.
And then we knew other mobile homes were selling between 70 and 80.
Yeah.
Right. And so as we were fixing it up, we just knew that we weren't going to lose money if we wanted to sell it, right? And so that's another mistake too that we did, was when we bought it, we didn't do an inspection because we just paid cash. We wanted to get the deal real quick.
Yeah.
We wish we'd done an inspection because there was a lot more work than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, like we had to gutter this whole place.
Yeah, so it was just.
But the ending
really
was so pretty. I honestly loved the place.
It was really nice.
Pretty. We'll insert some pictures of this place.
Yeah.
But it was really pretty, very comfy, and at this point we were like, okay, we just put all this work into this manufacturing home. Let's just stay here for 2 years, save money, and see where we want to go. But the longer we were there, we were like, you know what? Like, let's go back to Michigan. We loved it there. We loved the church. We loved the people, our friends. And houses are so much more affordable out here. Exactly. So let's try to sell this manufacturing home and move out there.
Yeah, this was kind of like at the peak or right before.
This is like when it first started.
Don't say, we can't say that.
What can we say?
Right when the pandemic.
Pandemic.
So
this is when the pandemic started.
Yeah. I don't want to get demonetized there.
Yeah. This is in March. So we were like, oh my gosh, like, is it even going to sell? How long is it going to be? And thankfully it sold within a week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah.
So we took that money and purchased our small A-frame house in cash.
Yep.
You know, so like really just kind of like taking small steps. Yeah. It's kind of like was our method through that. Dave Ramsey was really like a framework for us to get started.
Yeah.
But as you can see, like we just took just really small steps based on what we can afford. And we're not losing the money because our home, the money's in our home, and we can always sell it.
Yeah.
And we always bought under market value.
Yep.
If we're going to buy, we want to make money on the buy.
Yep.
And so that's kind of like our thought process through, I guess, real estate.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but it definitely paid off.
So we just kind of just jumped ahead, right? Through baby step 4, 5, 6, and now 7. And so that's really kind of how we hacked it, right? Buying a small mobile home. Yeah. That mobile home, like we were mentioning, it was like only $500 a month for the space rent. So we could still work less, right? Once that was done, when it was done remodeling, we could work less. But we kind of really just hacked our way to baby step 7 by selling that, moving to another state where it's more affordable, where we were happy, right? So I don't recommend just moving just because the homes are affordable. No, you actually have to like it.
Yeah, you need to like check out the place and see if you really like it, because what if you move to the place just because the houses are cheap and then you hate it? It makes no sense. Yeah.
So now that we got our home paid off, we are investing now into our Roths. Baby step 5 says save for your kids' college. And so our mindset, I think our mindset is going to change to that here in the future a little bit, because we do have a son now. Yeah. But I do believe in investing into his education.
Yes.
But college, I know there's like 529 plans and things like that where you have to use those expenses just for education. And so I'm not sure I want to encourage my son to go to college. We're both
on the same page
about that. College did help us. I'm not going to say it helped me get to where I am today, but I feel like YouTube University has gotten me a lot farther. And just really kind of taking leaps and taking risks and just kind of learning things and figuring things out on the way and really using critical thinking, learning sales, marketing, different things like that. And so it's like, I feel like I've learned more taking action than I have my college degree. And so I really want to instill those same skills into my son. And so, I mean,
I went to college. I did get my MA, medical assistant. But that was pretty much it. I knew what I wanted, which was to be a stay-at-home wife in the future. So I didn't want to invest into college and just pretty much never use my degree. And Jeremy does have a degree, which I am very grateful about because, I mean, wherever we go, we both can have jobs. I mean, he's in marketing. I'm a CNA, so I can be in the hospital. I can work in any hospital. And something I've talked to Jeremy is like, I don't want to pressure our son to go to school. If he wants to take a year off and travel and see the world, or go to Bible college or just do something different, I'm for it. Yeah,
because it's like, why are we going to pay for an education that he's not even necessarily sure that he wants to do? You know what I mean? I remember in college, like, I wasn't even really that sure what I wanted to do, right?
I've heard this people that they change their major like 5 times because they just don't know what to do, and they're in college for a long time. If he doesn't know what he wants to do right after high school, then he needs to take the time to figure out, maybe do some volunteer work or something, you know, like get involved in places where he can actually see, okay, I like this, I don't like that. Or if he already knows, like he wants to be a nurse or something that's worth it.
Then he can totally do that.
Then he can totally do it. If he's passionate about it and we can see that he's passionate about it, of course we're going to help him and pay for his college. But if he's not sure, then I just don't think that it's worth me putting money into college and he's just going to go.
Exactly. So. And then baby step 6, paid off the house early, right? So we kind of just jumped straight to that. Baby step 7 is build wealth and give generously. So that's kind of where we're at, right? I mean, we're focusing on what we want to every day. She's a home wife, stay-at-home wife. She's helped me with the YouTube channel. But she's living life how she wants to and how we agreed on, right? So like it's awesome.
It's
like
amazing.
I wanted her to, like, once we had this baby, I was like, babe, you have to quit. Like, there's no way. Like, it's just so much work. Like,
it is.
It's so much work.
Being a housewife is a lot of work and is not paid.
You're not paid.
I'm not paid.
You should. Housewife should be paid the most, like, because you do everything.
I do everything. I'm the chef. I am the housekeeper. I am the nanny. I am the wife. I'm everything.
Everything. And so then I'm able to pursue a different career, and a career that's more fulfilling. I can do more hobbies like this, YouTube, and we can just hang out with each other more, family, friends. Like, now we can just live life the way we want to, right? And so that's really how we hacked it. And I think there's really 2 key points to really note here. Is one of the reasons we follow Dave Ramsey is because he aligns with our values, right, as Christians. And so there's a lot of different people that have a lot of different paths. And they'll all get you, well, not all of them, but a few of them will get you to where you want you to be, right? I didn't even say that, right? A few of them will get to, a few of them, should I just stop? Should we just end the recording now? Only a few paths will get you to where you want to be, okay? But if you kind of like, okay, I'm about to finish this video, just give me a sec. Sometimes you can just like overload your mind with a lot of information. You get more confused and you just don't take action. So it's important to just, if you're gonna pick a plan, just pick it and stick with it. Does that rhyme? That's a new slogan, pick it and stick with it. I like that.
Pick it and stick with it.
But pick it and stick with it, okay? And just complete it, because you can get so confused and so overwhelmed with all these different people speaking into your lives. Pick somebody that you align with and then just do it, right? Either plan is gonna help you, if they're reputable, right? It's going to help you get to at least in a better situation than you are now, right? And the second thing I'd recommend is really think big, but act small and act quickly, right? So that's kind of literally our theme, is like just what we can afford. We acted and did what we could with what we had. And
I mean, we didn't have a lot of money.
And so we had to.
So we had to make it work. So we had to really sit down and think about, okay, we have this much money. What can we do to double it? Because that's what we pretty much did. We had this much money and we doubled it. And I mean, at the long run, it's just like pretty much like taking a risk. At the end of the day. So
third thing I'll add is question everything. Most people will say mobile homes are not good, right? But everybody needs a place to live, right? But I would just say just be smart about it. Okay, so our kid is saying that it's time to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment down below. Like I said, we have a free guide if you want to check it out to kind of help you. I'm done talking. You will not let mommy and daddy finish the video. What is wrong, bud? You have been fed, you have been changed, you're living your best life, swinging around. What's up? Okay. All right, no pictures? Okay.